So hello learners, welcome to the IIT Madras student community channel. Today we will be solving the IITM graded assignments. But before that, subscribe us and join our channel to get full access and all our latest updates. So now let's begin.
So hello guys, we are going to solve the week 4 graded assignment of computational thinking. So without wasting any time, let's go to the first question. For which of the following situation the nested loop is required? So it is a multiple select question, so there might be many statements in which a nested for loop is required. But I must to tell you this, that in every statement you can solve it with the nested loop. This is the first thing. But we are going to see only those options or those cases which can only be solved with the nested loops. That is, there is not another way for us, so we need only those options. So let's see the first option. What does it say? To find the pair of students who have the same birthday from the school's dataset. Okay, so for example, this is the dataset, this is the table, and here are the students and here are their date of births, and here are some rows. So when you pick one student from this row and you name it, for example, X student, and then you need to check from all those other rest cases, and we check the date of birth of X with other, and then this X goes to some table 2, and then the second one, that is the second row, becomes the X and checks with the rest of the statements. So here it goes. So here you need a nested loop. For example, you can see here a loop starts here, like for example here it first extracts the first row, that is the first row, the row 1 is equal to X, then move this row 1 to some table 2, move to table 2, then we are going to start the next loop, that is the loop 2, which is going to start from the rest of this table, the table 1. So the rest table is excluding the first row, the rest of the rows are included in table 1. So y is equal to row number, let's say this number is I, and we'll check that date of birth of x.dob is equal to y.dob. If it is equal, then increase the value of count by 1. Then we'll change the value of I because we have to move to the next row. So here we'll use the value of I and move the second row, or we can say we can move also the second row to table 2, sorry, to table 3, to some another table, because at the end we need to copy the table 3 to table 1 again, so we have to move it to some third table. But the thing is, in this question, in this statement, we cannot solve it without using the nested loops. So first is the right option. The second option says to find the pair of students who scored the same marks in physics from the school's dataset. So again, using the same dataset, instead of date of birth, here will be the physics marks and everything will remain same. So the second option is the same, and we cannot find it without using the nested loops. Okay, so here are the two options. Now let's see the third option. To find the number of words which have highest letter count from the words dataset. Okay, so let's see the how can we solve it without using nested loop. As you know that we can solve it by the nested loop, but let's see. So for example, if we have this table containing all the words, for example this is the dataset of the words, we picked one word from it. For example, we set the value of max equal to 0. We picked a word from the words dataset, and check that if the word is having the length, word dot length is greater than max. So because the max is 0, any word which is having length greater than 0, we will change its value, change the value of max to word dot length, and this need to be done in the loop. We need to check this for all such statements. So all the words will be checked by this loop. In the end, we will get the value of max, which contain the word with the largest length. And now we can use another loop which will check the length of rest of all the words if it is equal to the max length. Let's say the other left words are in the x. The x is the row 1 and we check the length. If it is equal to max, then increase the value of count. So this can be done without a nested loop. It is not compulsory to use a nested loop here, so we cannot include the third option in that statement. Now let's see the last one. To find the number of bills from the shop from shopping bills dataset. In shopping bills dataset also we know there are only few shops. For example, there is an SV store, there is a big bazaar, and there might be some, let's say, shop C and shop D. I think there is not more than 4 markets in the shopping bills dataset. So if we need to calculate, we can use just a single loop, and if this is a dataset having bill number this side and the shop name this side, we can calculate. We picked one row, complete row, and we'll check if the shop name is equal to big bazaar, shop name is equal to big bazaar, then increase the value of some, let's say, count b by 1, and the same rest of the things we'll do with the same other stores, and we do not require any nested loop here, although we can do it, but there is not a compulsion to use the nested loop here, so that both these options are incorrect. So let's read the second question. The question goes like, the following pseudocode is executed using the words dataset. At the end of the execution, A captures the number of sentences with at least 2 nouns that have at most 2 vowels. So we need to find the number of sentences. So for example, if these are some set of words, for example these 3 sets of words, we need to and they make a sentence, we need to find those words inside this sentence which are nouns and also having at most 2 vowels. So there must be 2 words inside it which must be noun and having at most 2 vowels. So let's see how can we design the algorithm. So first thing is we set the 2 variables a equal to 0 and c equal to 0. While the table 1 has more rows, read the first row x from table 1. So the first row is set to now x. If the part of speech is noun and the count vowels is less than equal to 2. So let's see the count vowels procedure which is written here in the 15th line. So the procedure goes like, I is equal to 1 and b equal to 0 if I is less than y dot letter count. So here is the thing. First of all, we are setting this I as 1. So it means that in a word, for example, if word is a word, then the 1 is set for the first letter and the 4 is set for the fourth letter and the length of the word is 4. So we are moving the loop from 1 to 4. So this is correct. Now seeing this, if ith letter of y dot word is a vowel, so we'll check if the word is the vowel, then we'll increase the value of b by 1. Okay. So in the end, we'll return b, but we also need to check what should come in this statement 4. So in this statement 4, I should increase by 1. I should increase by 1 because we need to move to the further letters. That is, we need to go to 2, then 3, then 4, and so on. So there is no statement to increase the value of I. So I must be increased. So how can we say that the I must increase in statement 4 and not in statement 3? Because when the statement 3 will only execute when the word is a vowel. So for example, if W is the word and it is and one need to move to the second letter, that is O word, O letter, then how can it go? Because the ith letter of word is not a vowel, so all these set of statements won't execute and the loop will eventually come to an end. So I needs to be increased outside this set of statements. So the statement 4 must have I equal to I plus 1. In all those in all those options, there are only first, third and fourth option in which they are having the statement I is equal to I plus 1. So the second one is completely rejected because it does not increase the value of I at statement 4. So out of these we need to select the best case. The statement 3 is given not necessary. So statement 3 is not necessary in every case. So this means that the statement 3 is of no use because in general also, if you can see, there is no use of statement 3. We just need the value of we increase the value of b, in the end we return the value of b. That's what the procedure count vowel should count, the number of vowels in the count variable. So there is no need to add any statement 3 here because it is not required. So in general also we can see, and in the options also it is clearly seen that the statement 3 is not necessary. So let's see the other statements. If x dot word ends with a full stop, okay, first of all we see the noun and there are the count vowels. If the vowels are less than equal to 2, then we'll increase the value of c by 1. So if the word ends with a full stop, so it means that the sentence is completely over now, and there are two and more such nouns are present which are having vowels less than equal to 2. So increase the value of a. So this is what was asked in the statement, that at the end of the execution a captures the number of sentences. So the number of sentences can be captured easily by this statement. So but what is the use of statement 1? Let's see the options. The first says not necessary, the second says not necessary, and the third says c is set to be 0. So again I must add here that if we'll set c to 0 here, then for example, let's say the value of c is equal to 1 now. So when it will, so 1 is not equal to 2, so c will not set to be 0 here, so c will be 1 now. So after executing all these statements, when it will go back here, the c will increase from 1 rather than it was increasing from 0. So in a new sentence, it will already count a noun with vowels less than equal to 2 as 1. Although there might be no vowels, but 1 is already calculated here because of this problem. So C should not be here rather than C should be here, because I already told you the reason. And also the updating statement should not be mentioned under any conditions. It need to be updated whatever might be the condition. So there is a thing, it was the same thing that was executed here. Also I should increase by 1 after this statement, after the condition. So the option which says that C should be set to 0 here is also getting rejected, and now we are only left with the two options. So these two options are like, so the this option says that C should increase by 1 and this option says that C should be equal to 0. But we already know that C should be set to 0 here because the value of the task of increasing C is here, that when we find a noun and the vowels are less than 2, then only we'll increase this value of C. Otherwise, after completing a sentence, the C should be reinitialized to 0 so that we can move with a fresh start for the next sentence. So the right answer will be C should be set to 0 except the C is increased by 1. So the option A is the right answer here. Okay. So now coming on to the third question. The third question goes like the following pseudocode is executed using the library dataset. At the end of the execution, n captures the name of a book which has maximum number of pages and is written in the language of other than English, and a captures the number of pages in the book. So we need to so a captures a is equal to number of pages in the book and n equal to the name of the book. So we need to see here. First of all, we'll use a condition, that is the language should not be equal to English. So there is a condition already set here, the language should not be English and the pages must be greater than A. So if the language is not English, then A will update its value and N will also update its value to a X dot name. So the question is asking us, if the rows of the table are shuffled in any random order, then choose the correct option. So I am again telling you this, that the order will not change the algorithm or will not change the answer here in any such case, because these are not designed after changing the order. For example, let's say that we have made the arrangement of books. We have made an arrangement of books here. These are all non-English books. Okay, so I am already making it clear that these are non-English books, and we made it to ascending order. Let's say that the last book is having the 1,000 pages, and this is having 500, this is having 600, and so on. So is it going to change my program? No, neither the answer nor anything, nothing will change. Let me show you how it's going to work. So let's start. A is set to 0, n is set to none. Now the table 1 has more rows. Yes, it reads the table 1. So the language is already not English. I have already told you. The pages are 500. So 500 is greater than 0. Yes, it is. So A will be set to now 500, and the name will set to be whatever the name. Let's say name 1, and this is the name 10. So name will be set to 1 here. Okay. So now we'll move this X to table 2. Now only these other left rows are there for us. So now what it will do, moving again to the loop. So it will check the language is not English. We already know this, that the language is not English. The pages are greater than A. So 600, yes, it is greater than 500. So A, the new value of A will be X dot pages, which is 600. So A will be now 600, and X dot name, the name, let's say the name is 2 here. So the new name will be 2 here. So you can see that it will change in every iteration if it is arranged in ascending order. So in the end, the value of A will be 1,000 and the name will be 10th. So it is not affected by the order. You can also see it in the descending order. Let me make it in a new page. So let's say if it is the books are arranged in the descending order. This is a book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is having the 1,000 pages, and this is having the 900 pages, and this is for example having 100 pages. So let's say, so the starting the loop, A is set to 0, n is set to none. Now the table 1 has more rows. Yes, the table 1 has more rows. Language is not English. I'm already making this clear. The pages is greater than 0. So the pages is 1000 here. So 1000 is greater than 0. So A will be set to number of pages which was 1000 that side, and N is going to be 1. Now this is the new value and this is the only value we already know, but let's see. Now we'll move this row to table 2. This first row is going in the table 2. Now let's see here. You can see that when we'll select the second row which is having 900 pages and name is 2, so language is not English, so x dot pages is 900 here, a value is 1000 here, so this condition is giving us false. So even this is true, but there is an AND condition. T and F will give us false in the end. So this won't will execute, these set of statements won't execute, and it will straight up go to table 2. So all of these rows will straight up end in the table 2 without changing the value of a and n. So in the end, the value of a and n will be 1001 only, which was highest in the whole data. So even if it is in any random model, there will be no change in the value of a and n. So our answers here will be, there will be no change in the value of n and there will be no change in the value of a. Let me make it with another pen. There will be no change in the value of n and there will be no change in a.